Welcome back, everybody, to another Zeal Cigar review. I'm JB, and I'm going to be talking about a big cigar today that sometimes makes you feel like you got a big mountain to climb that might be named something like Kilimanjaro. And before I get into showing you the stick and talking about it, I'm going to read a little bit of a passage from the biker book that's been sitting over here, and then we'll get into what we're going to be doing here today. So if you feel like I feel right now, which is like you have a mountain to climb, and I personally have a mountain of a cigar to climb, you just got to look back and see, go back to the old good book and see what they got to say, right? Today's April 25th, and the book says, "Today, then spoke Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. The light of life." That's John 8:12. So I think if you do feel like you have a mountain to climb and it's not a big cigar like this Kilimanjaro, you just got to remember, Jesus is the way and the light. So after that good word, we're going to find out what this Kilimanjaro has in store for us, all next on the Zeal Cigar Review. Before I start talking about this Kilimanjaro, I want to say a couple things. Number one, people keep hating on my shirts, man, but I got to shout out a local company right now called Rebel Reaper. They make amazing clothing and motorcycle vests and things like that. I love this shirt. You guys hate on this shirt, I'll fight all of you. That's all I got to say. So the Kilimanjaro has two younger brothers. The younger brothers are going to be the Double Down, which is a Connecticut wrapper, and then a Cameroon Maduro, African Cameroon Maduro, on the top, with mostly Dominican filler inside. Nice, light, smooth, creamy at the beginning, then gets into kind of like a little bit of like a chocolatey leatheriness, and sometimes gets a little bit bitter towards the end. But that's the younger brother. Then you've got the Tri-Wrap. You've got the Nightcap. Again, light, smooth, creamy, little bit of like a middle Habano, gets a little bit, for me it gets a little bit kind of plain, a little bit more of like just a normal smoke, and then it gets into this like rich dark chocolatiness, again very similar to the Double Down. And then there's the mountain to climb, the Kilimanjaro. You got the Connecticut, the Candela, the Habano, and the African Cameroon Maduro with Dominican filler. I have not yet smoked this cigar, and I'm really excited to find out with you guys. And you know there's only one way to do that, and we gotta and smoke. Man, lighting big cigars with a soft flame is always kind of a challenge sometimes. I even screwed this one up a little bit. But let's see what it tastes like. You know, I felt like a big cigar needed a big liter of Farva, a Farva liter size of cola. The big gulp.
Oh, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.
Time out. At first light, there's a nice little bit of like spicy breadiness. Nice little tingle on the retrohale, but still some smooth creaminess on it though. I've heard multiple people pick this up and smoke it over the last 3 or 4 days, and I just kept asking myself, like, man, I really haven't smoked this yet. And a lot of it just has to do with having the time to sit and actually smoke this bigger cigar, and also have the time to go through each layer and kind of really think about what I'm getting out of it. So today, luckily, Brad's sister Carrie, you guys all know Carrie, she's here in town and gives me a little bit of an opportunity to have a little bit more time to do this today. So you can thank her for me being able to have time to smoke this today. Once you start getting into it a little bit, the creaminess really does start to come through on this Kilimanjaro. Still quite a bit of that spice on the retrohale though. That hasn't really seemed to really go away yet. if you've never had the opportunity to smoke something that has multiple wrappers on it, whether it's a barber pole or whether they're kind of stacked like these are, you should definitely take a minute and try them. It's just a really unique way to kind of figure out how the wrapper of a cigar can really change the flavor. I think a lot of people will say that about 70% of the flavor of a cigar comes from the wrapper leaf, especially depending on what size the cigar is. Obviously, if you're smoking a 7x70, there's a lot of filler in that cigar. Supposedly, blenders have been able to get, good enough at blending that they can kind of blend the cigars with the right amount of tobacco in each one so that they don't really taste different as you change sizes. But I think we all know that the different sizes of cigars most definitely do change the way they taste. And the smaller the cigar, meaning thinner ring gauge, typically the more wrapper leaf you get. So a cigar like this is kind of interesting to smoke because you got quite a bit of filler leaf, but you also have 4 different wrappers on it. So I'm really interested to see how each wrapper will influence a cigar like this that's got a lot of filler leaf. But with that, I'm gonna step away for a couple minutes and smoke this down, and I'll come back when it transitions into the Candela and let you guys know how that tastes. I'm going through changes. Sorry, I'm not the singer. Never was, never will be. All right, guys, so I'm back with the getting ready to get into the second wrapper on this Kilimanjaro, which is the Candela. And I gotta be honest, the Connecticut got really creamy. Very smooth, very enjoyable. It was a really pleasant smoke. The spice that was kind of on the back of the palate and on the retrohale kind of went away. So now I'm getting ready to get right into when this is getting ready to switch. And you can kind of see pieces of the Connecticut still hanging on there. There we go. There we go. So we're right when we're about to transition into the Candela. Immediately there's a change in creaminess. It's still very sweet. A lot of cream. You get a little bit of this like light, clean grassiness on the finish of the palate. Let's see how it keeps going though. So far, I think I'm enjoying the Candela portion more than the Connecticut, which is not typical for me. Although I did really enjoy the Green Bandit. That was a very good, very smooth smoke. Really enjoyed that cigar. Little bit of like a leathery spice on the back end of the palate, but very light. I'm actually really enjoying the Candela portion of this so far. Just a sweet grass and like a little bit of a leather. I don't know if I've ever really gotten leather from a Candela. I know somebody else never got leather. Oh. Little bit more of a grassy hint, and then there was like a burnt, like, what was that? I know that was a dirt bike that went by, but what was the flavor note in this? Very pleasant. I'm really enjoying the Candela. I'm gonna see how it goes though. I'm gonna step away and get into it a little bit more, and I'll come back and let you guys know how it transitions and how the rest of the Candela finishes up. But so far, I think I'm liking the Candela portion more than the Connecticut. It seems to just keep getting better. Hopefully it stays on that pace. All right, everybody, so I'm back here. I'm about halfway through climbing this mountain Kilimanjaro cigar here, and I'll be honest, the Candela was pretty good. It was very good. Lots of grass, a little bit of like a leather kind of sweet molasses note to it, but we're getting ready to switch over to the Habano, so let's see what happens here. The kind of leather notes that I was getting from the Candela kind of intensified just a little bit. Picks up just a little bit more of some spice. Quite a bit more pickup on the spice. It's not It's not off-putting in any way, shape, or form, but it's definitely noticeable in the change from the Candela to the Habano. Well, this big old guy's I think it's about a 660. I've probably been smoking it for just over about 45 minutes now, so if I had to give you an estimate of how long this smoke would last me, probably about an hour and a half. That's a pretty good smoke time. I'd say if you feel like you got a mountain to climb in life, this would be a definite good cigar to sit down and contemplate over an hour and a half. You know, especially when you have something that changes flavor like this and it transitions the way that it does. For me, when that happens, it can also kind of alter like the way I'm thinking, right? So like if I'm thinking about something specific while I'm smoking the Connecticut, that could change when I start smoking the Candela. So for me, I really enjoy smoking sticks when I'm really contemplating things that change and have a lot of complexity to them and a lot of transitions. Because for me, it just kind of helps get me out of any kind of a rhythm that I get stuck into, where I get into like too deep of a thought. That flavor change or that transition will kind of bring me back out of that, because, you know, it's just something different that kind of bumps you up out of your routine or out of that particular smoking moment. But I'm going to step away. I'm going to finish smoking this Habano, get into it a little bit more, and come back to you guys, let you know how this Kilimanjaro is finishing. I'm back here with the nub on this Kilimanjaro. As you can see, I'm literally transitioning into the Maduro right now. The Habano was probably my least favorite of the first three wrapper leaves on the Kilimanjaro. I'm gonna see how this Maduro tastes now. So the Habano for me added a little bit more spice, a little bit more of like a dirty earthiness and some leather. When you get to the Maduro, you get a lot more of a dirty richness. Whereas like the Habano was like a smoother, cleaner dirtiness. This is like a rich dirtiness. Maybe some dark coffee notes. All in all though, really good cigar. I'm kind of upset it took me this long to smoke it, considering I keep hearing everybody talk about how good it is, you know? And if you feel like you got a mountain to climb, just remember, there's a guy that looks like this, riding a motorcycle, named Jesus, that is the way and the light. And if you're ever feeling like you're climbing a mountain, somebody like him can definitely help you get to the other side. So just remember that. And with that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here with this Kilimanjaro. If you guys have smoked the Kilimanjaro or anything like it, put a comment down below. And if you haven't, go try the Kilimanjaro and then let me know what you think of it below. And with that, guys, I'm out of here like last year. Peace.